DME, that is the global future in energy fuel. Not coal, not petroleum, nor LPG, nor CNG. Move away from LPG, CNG, and petroleum. The new future is DME. So we shall see what is DME, the advantages and disadvantages, and future scope. The future of energy, DME. Now, DME stands for dimethyl ether. The full form of DME is dimethyl ether. And the formula is given CS3, single bond oxygen, single bond CS3. And students of class 9 and 10 will know that this part, bond oxygen bond, this is ether, the functional group for ether. And on either side we have a methyl group CS3. So two CS3, two methyl groups, and the functional group is dash O dash, that is ether. So dimethyl ether. Dimethyl ether is a colorless gas. At room temperature, it's a colorless gas. And it can be liquefied like LPG, although it requires a much higher pressure. It is liquefied under pressure like LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, but it requires a much greater pressure to liquefy than LPG. And the most important thing is, it can be produced from a variety of source materials, gas, coal, or biomass. You do not depend on a single source like LPG or diesel or petrol. You are depending on only crude oil, crude petroleum. But here you have a variety of source materials from which you can produce dimethyl ether or DME. Now let us see the advantages and disadvantages of the revolutionary fuel DME or dimethyl ether. Now, the advantages. The main advantage is versatile production. This we will see at the end. Almost zero smoke, very clean burning fuel. We call LPG and CNG clean fuel, but DME is cleaner. It is cleaner than LPG, cleaner than CNG. Low NOx. Now X stands for a number. So if it is 1, it will be NO. If it is 2, it will be NO2. So low NO2 or NO3 or NO emissions means oxides of nitrogen. All oxides of nitrogen, low emission. Any oxide of nitrogen, NO2, NO3, low emission. No sulfur pollution, no SO2, SO3. Sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide, these are not produced. And cleaner than diesel. It is much cleaner than diesel and even cleaner than LPG or CNG. Now, the biggest advantage we were talking about, versatile production. You can see that highly versatile with pathways that can utilize conventional fossil fuels like coal or petroleum, waste, biomass, or other renewable energy sources, making it critical clean burning fuel. So you don't depend on one source material. You don't depend on coal only. You don't depend on crude oil only. You can have a variety of materials from which you can produce dimethyl ether, which includes fossil fuels like petroleum and coal, but also waste materials like biomass and other renewable energy sources. That's why DME is called critical clean burning fuel. So versatile production and no pollution, the two biggest advantages of dimethyl ether. Now, we have disadvantages. Disadvantages, first, low energy density. That means given unit mass of diesel and unit mass of DME, DME will give you much less energy. If I give you equal quantities of diesel and DME, DME will produce much less energy. That means you will need it in more quantity. Needs special engines. Engines will have to be redesigned. Your car engine or your lorry engine or your truck engine will have to be redesigned. Storage under pressure. Now, LPG and CNG are also stored under pressure, but this is stored under a much higher pressure. Much higher pressure. DME is stored under a pressure which is much greater than the pressure used in LPG or CNG. Limited infrastructure at present in most countries. The other disadvantages, low viscosity and poor lubricity. That means it will cause faster wear and tear of the engine. Low viscosity and it's not lubricating, so it will cause a greater wear and tear, a faster wear and tear. Low energy density is 2/3 of the diesel. 2/3 of the diesel. What you can do with 1 unit of diesel, you'll require 1.5 units of DME. 1 unit quantity of diesel, you will require 1.5 times the quantity if you are using DME to get the same energy. So the energy production of DME is 2/3, about 66% of diesel. High vapor pressure and handling. Because of high vapor pressure, when you compress it under very high pressure, the safety concerns, more precautions, more hazards, lack of infrastructure at present, and although we don't have oxides of nitrogen or oxides of sulfur, we may have higher hydrocarbon or carbon monoxide emission. We said that no pollution means no oxides of sulfur, SO2, SO3, and no oxides of nitrogen, but hydrocarbon and carbon monoxide emission may be higher, particularly if the engines are not properly designed or maintained. So these are the disadvantages of DME. And now the applications of dimethyl ether. First, as transport fuel, particularly in heavy vehicles like buses and trucks. You can see here tankers, heavy vehicles, you can use DME. Cooking gas, you can use it as a cooking gas. You can see in picture number 2, instead of LPG, you can use DME. Aerosols, you can use it in aerosols. You can see in picture number 3. And as industrial fuel, industries require high energy fuel for heavy machinery. So heavy machinery, heavy industries, they can use DME as fuel. So transport fuel in buses and trucks and maybe even in trains, in cooking gas, in aerosols and in industries. So these are the applications of DME or dimethyl ether. Now the current condition of DME production and use in China, because China and US are the two main countries using DME. In China, there's large scale production. Used as cooking fuel, vehicle trials successful. So, large scale production in China. At present, they are mainly using it as cooking fuel, cooking gas. Although they are also experimenting with vehicles and vehicle trials are successful. Now, China is the world's dominant producer, greatest producer of dimethyl ether. approximately 82% of total global production. Whatever DME is produced in the world, more than 82% is produced in China. The capacity is more than 8.2 million metric tons per year as on 2023. As of 2023, the actual production was more than 8.2 million metric tons in China, and the installed capacity is much higher. And they are mainly using it as cooking fuel, although they're also trying to use in vehicles, and vehicle trials are successful. More than 82% of the global production is in China. The second country using DME, although it is much behind China, USA. Research and pilot projects, limited commercial use, future development ongoing. They are still struggling with that. US is moving towards DME, but it is much behind China, producing over 10,000 metric tons. There we had more than 8 million metric tons. Here you have 10,000 metric tons. So much behind China, but that is the second country willing to use DME for industries and vehicles and as cooking gas. Second to China, USA is viewing DME as the alternative fuel of the future. And the future scope, clean energy transition, hydrogen carrier potential, and eco-friendly fuel. Eco-friendly, that is no sulfur dioxide production, no sulfur trioxide, and no nitrogen dioxide or nitrogen trioxide. Oxides of nitrogen and oxides of sulfur are not produced, so eco-friendly fuel. And also you don't depend on petroleum only, you can produce from biomass and also from molasses. So in conclusion, we can say DME is clean and efficient, reduces pollution, and is promising future fuel. The future promise is DME. The future of global energy is DME or dimethyl ether. So dimethyl ether you can consider will slowly replace LPG, CNG, diesel and petrol. So DME, dimethyl ether, is the future of our energy worldwide.